Yeah, buddy. We are back
Beautiful.
here. It is draft time. We are 2 days away from the draft.
Let's
I'm here with my
go.
guy. Yes, I'm here with diehard Atlanta Falcons fan,
Love it.
Kyle Yacey. What's up, Kyle?
Oh, Sean, same old, same old. Just getting all excited for the draft, seeing what's
Oh
going to
yeah,
go down, what
oh yeah,
surprises, what shocks, what value.
yes. What trades? Yeah,
Yeah, that's the big thing. Those are the unexpected ones, right? So,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be in my normal habitat of Northern Virginia. I will be going to your worst enemies lair, New Orleans.
you're just hurting yourself. Like that's all
I
you're
know,
doing.
I
You're
know,
just
man.
hurting
I'm
yourself.
sorry. My bad, man. My bad. I'll be sure to wear some Falcons underneath. I can't. I ain't tough enough to walk outside with it because I know they're a little. They don't like y'all too much.
Do
But
it. You want me to send you a jersey?
yeah, let's do it. Right. See how long I last.
I'll send you a Michael
Yo.
Vick jersey too.
Oh, I'll take that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they won't like that one. So we got to get into. We know what your team is, the Atlanta Falcons, man. You've made a couple moves in the off season.
Yep.
Marcus Mariota came because of the fact that you lost the great Matt Ryan to
Yep.
the Indianapolis Colts. And we're actually real quick. How do you feel about that? I mean, Matt Ryan was kind of past his days potentially. I mean, he had a couple years left, but
Yeah, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow. It's something that I kind of saw coming for a little while now, to be quite honest. Like Matt Ryan's been, I believe, with the Falcons, I think it was about 13 seasons. So like he's had quite the tenure there for sure. And it kind of comes to a point where, you can kind of see, well, he still has the arm. You see the decline with the mobility and everything. That at one point you got to pull the trigger and you just got to move on, right? And to be quite honest, like if the rumors are true of why Matt Ryan got traded and respecting the fact that, he's been with the team for so long, I think he deserves to go somewhere where it's almost like a win now team. Like, I can't be mad about that, right? Like, going into the NFL, like, your whole goal is you want to go and you want to win, a Super Bowl. That's what you want to do, right? So he's going to have his chance in the Colts now, and I think that's awesome. So,
yeah.
to be honest, it needed to happen. Mariota's going to be a bridge quarterback, so like that, it is what it's going to be. Honestly, either we have a good season or we don't. But I'm calling the season a write off regardless. So
I like that. I like that. I like that. Well, look. So let's go right into it because you talked about he's going to be a bridge quarterback.
Yep.
We know that's one of the places y'all have been looking. Like we definitely want to dive into the draft, but I want to actually ask this because there have been so much talk about you guys. There's like a little 3 spot where it's think you guys, who is it? Seattle that needs one, Carolina that's right in there between like 6, 8, and 9, and it's kind of like everybody's been saying you need it. This is not the quarterback draft of last year. We all know this is. There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? Trey Lance, who didn't get much playing time, but none of those guys are in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Is this somewhere where you go quarterback right here?
Honestly, it's kind of tough to say. Where the Falcons are at number 8, like there's a lot of potential moves that you can make. You can go best available player at that moment. You can go and try and fill holes, but I guess with the Falcons, there's many right now. But honestly, like you touched on it already, like there's teams that need quarterbacks. So it's really going to be dependent on, if the quarterback that the Falcons want is available, right? Are the Panthers going to pull the trigger? Are they going to go with the quarterback? Are they going to keep Sam Darnold? Like, that's going to be a decider. And honestly, who's really going to take a quarterback before Carolina at that point? So to answer your question, I guess, honestly, I think the only quarterback that the Falcons are interested in taking is Malik Willis.
Yep.
And I think a large portion of that is the chemistry between Malik and AJ Terrell. I think that's the big thing. So if a quarterback's not available there, or Malik Willis, I don't think they go quarterback. I think they'll wait till the next year, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. And it's not a bad move. I mean, next year, there's a number of good quarterbacks coming out. A lot of people are counting that as kind of similar to last year's draft as far as quarterbacks are concerned. And I mean, that's an excellent point because honestly, I personally, Washington, we're at 11. We've talked about potentially having us get a quarterback. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I kind of would rather, maybe move back a little bit, not necessarily take one at 11. I would go where you're going and say
Yep.
take the best player available. Whoever's the best guy off the board, maybe Hamilton, maybe wide receiver. But what do you think about us though? Yeah, about Washington.
Yeah, so this is the tough thing, and this is where I consider like Washington in a very similar situation as Atlanta right now, is by not taking a quarterback, you're also going to not necessarily bank that you're going to tank the season, but you're also thinking that you're going to end up in a better position or have draft capital going into next year, right? So let's say you decide that, okay, I'm going to let this quarterback walk, right? Well, okay, do you think you're going to get a top 5 pick? Do you think you're going to get a top 7 pick? Because if you're not, you might have just blown your chance for the next, who knows, 2 or 3 years in getting a quarterback, right? So speaking in terms of Washington, though, I do think Washington should go quarterback. The only reason why I say that, too, is Washington has definitely some places they can go and fill some people in, like with offensive linemen for sure. Maybe bolster up the defense even more. Maybe add, another top wide receiver to pair with Terry. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, are you banking that Carson Wentz isn't going to get hurt this season when he's got hurt the last how many seasons, right? And are you okay with Taylor Heineke taking over that role? And is he going to go and fill that in for when Carson Wentz is out, right? So I think it would be Washington's best interest, probably even more than Atlanta, to go quarterback, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I mean, we talked about this off camera, how, after, you have Carson Wentz, but unless you're getting that Carson Wentz from the beginning of his career where he went 11-2 in that Super Bowl year, he has not been the same. We've all talked about it. He has not been the same since the injury, since Nick Foles took over and took them to the championship. And even at the Colts, you talked about his injuries. You're absolutely right. So he's not reliable. And after coming off Fitzpatrick, where we had all this hype about him coming in here and doing something, and he lasts a quarter, you know what I mean? And then he's done for the rest of the season. I mean, are we cursed, or is that just something super unfortunate, man? Like,
it's unfortunate. Honestly, that's the way I look at it. Like, Washington overall, like they have the pieces. You know what I mean? It's not like they have too many holes, in my opinion. So I just say, get a little bit of a safety blanket in quarterback, and I think you guys have a good running this season.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. Let's see how it works out. But speaking of quarterbacks, we also spoke about wide receivers. This is a very deep wide receiver draft. Yeah. You guys have actually, in the last 2 years, have actually had a loss of multiple wide receivers. Talk about Julio. He went over to the Titans. Russell Gage just left. And then the whole Calvin Ridley situation. This is a very deep wide receiver draft. Yeah. Do you look wide receiver? Is this something you prioritize, maybe even at 8?
Yeah. To be quite honest with you, touching over what you were just talking about as well. Julio, ever since he went to that Super Bowl and we lost it to the Patriots in that absolute blowout, he was never the same. He declined after that, and he just was injury after injury after injury, much like Carson Wentz as well, right? So, losing Julio was a big loss too. Russell Gage, I've personally never been a big fan of Russell Gage. I think at most he was only ever a wide receiver too. So I do hope good things for him for the Buccaneers, but I don't know. Like, to me, that wasn't going to be our wide receiver one. Calvin Ridley hurt. I'll be honest with you. I was very fond of Calvin Ridley. Yeah. I loved him. I loved him in Alabama. I love him now too. And like, honestly, like it sucks because I don't think even when he is completely healthy and he's off that probation, I don't think he's coming back to Atlanta. So yeah, I think personally, if you're drafting anything at 8th, I think you're going a wide receiver. I think that's the smartest decision, considering right now the NFL has us ranked as the worst wide receiving corps. So yeah, you got to do it. You need something to build off of. So
yeah. No, I completely agree. And like you said, there are so many wide receivers in this draft. You have guys like the Drake Londons. You have the Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, the guy from Arkansas. Why his name escapes me right now. You have a number
Williams.
Williams from Alabama, but the guy from Arkansas, Burks, Traylon Burks.
Oh yeah, that's it.
You got him. You have a number of wide receivers. And with you, I mean, honestly, you could even go into the second round and pick up wide receivers. And like you said, you guys need it. We kind of need it, but not as much as I think a lot of people are saying. With McKissick coming back, Logan Thomas coming back, hopefully we're putting a lot of stock in the Carson Wentz and really trying to see him being able to throw longer and farther and more accurately than Tyler Heineke. But it's going to be interesting. But definitely wide receiver somebody I'm looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm pretty fond right now on Garrett Wilson
Yes.
or Drake London. To be honest, I think it's more of a toss up, right? But I don't know. It's hard not to look at the Ohio State boy. Like,
yeah,
Ohio State's just so good, and they developed their wide receivers so well too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that. So,
no, I can dig it. I can dig it. Now, look, we can't go on here without talking about your state. First of all, your state of Georgia. That's where your team is from. You like Georgia sports, right?
Love it. Love it.
You love Georgia sports. So, and you guys have been winning everything as of late. The Braves get the World Series. Georgia Bulldogs get the national championship over a hated foe, Alabama. And as we saw on that team, I mean, the offense was good. Don't get me wrong. But that team was led by one position group. Yeah.
Defense. Absolutely.
I mean, there it is. I mean, look, you can draft that whole defense, honestly, and you'd be pretty solid. But is this somewhere you want to look? Maybe even trade back into the first to get somebody on defense?
That's tough. That's a tough pill, to be honest with you. Like I think the Falcons have a lot of holes on defense, and even with Grady Jarrett right now, like it looks like his time is numbered. I don't know how many years he's still going to have with Atlanta. So I do think that we do have to hit defense in this draft. Pretty much until we knew what was going on with Calvin Ridley, I was saying defense right off the bat. I was saying we go for whatever is the best is available, whether, it is Jordan Davis from Georgia, or if it's, maybe a cornerback like Stingley Jr., or, if Kyle Hamilton is available at 8, like, do you pick him at, safety, right? It's all a matter of, honestly, and I know I've said this before, but what's available at 8, right? Because maybe it does entice you to go just the best defender overall, right? So, to be honest, I do think you should prioritize defense. The wide receiver core is pretty deep. And honestly, if you were to draft any of those top 6 wide receivers, even in the early second round, you're still getting a steal of a deal, to be quite honest with you. So
I agree. Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. Actually, you can't. I don't think you can go wrong with wide receiver or defense. And I mean, we already see the first overall pick most likely will be Aiden Hutchinson. Edge rusher. Trayvon Walker is up there. You talked about Big Baby Davis. Linebackers. Nakobe Dean is in the mix. I mean, Georgia's well represented in the draft, especially in the first round, and also at corner. You mentioned that, and that's somewhere that's actually a lot of more corners have been kind of jumping up in there. Whether it be Trent McDuffie from Washington, you talk about Stingley from LSU, Sauce Gardner, from Cincinnati. A lot of those guys have been moving up. And I mean, honestly, even with us at 11, I'm kind of like, I would not be opposed to it. I talked about Hamilton, but getting one of those corners, one of those premier corners, I would love that. I would love that.
I'd love Sauce. Like, if they ended up drafting Sauce and just completely just shocking me with it, I would be absolutely A-okay with that. Like, he killed it in Cincinnati. Like, it was unreal.
Yeah, and I like that. So I am hopeful that we'll make the right pick. But look, I'm going to come to you with it right now. You kind of mentioned where you're looking to go, what you prioritize, what you favor. Yeah. Let's give it. You're the GM. What should your Falcons do with the 8th pick in the draft?
Oh, God. Well, Sean, with the 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons choose Garrett Wilson.
Woo! Okay. I like
Garrett
that.
Wilson. And for one reason only, just because he's a big boy. He has muscle. He can push people around. And right now, looking at that Falcons line, like, the offensive line's already weak as it is, and it's going to need some work. But you're going to need a wide receiver that's able to push guys over and still catch the ball like how he should. So I really think that with the combination of Wilson and Kyle Pitts, it gives the Falcons a little bit more of an offensive advantage versus just getting tanked every game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. My man, Kyle, yes. Yo, I am so appreciative of you coming on here and talking this. I got to tell the people on Thursday, you will be coming on for the 8th pick, talking to the Swintons, and you will be calling the pick, who it is, giving your 2 cents on what you feel, if you feel is good. If you guys traded back with Washington and we gave you the farm for it.
I'll die. I would laugh so hard if that happens, man. Oh my God.
If that happens, I don't care where I am. I'm going to find somewhere and get on and be like, what? What? I quit. I'm done. I'm at it.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there. Thanks for having me. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. So
I can dig it. And we appreciate you being on here with us, man. Hey, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and conclude it right there, man.
All right.
Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Yacey, my guy. Yo, stay tuned. Draft 2020, Thursday.
Let's go, man. Peace out, Sean.
Let's go. Yeah. See you, dude.